Hey there, Periscopers. This is Gunner, and I just tricked you there. I'm not going to be doing a beer review of Surly, but I do want to take care of something here before we get started. I just want to remind you folks that you can give hearts. Even if this is on the replay, you can give hearts. And just wanted to let you know that if you're watching this for the first time and you like it, to follow me here on Periscope, and also check out my Twitter, my Instagram, my YouTube, and my blog. Hey Janelle Becerra, how's it going today? So we're going to be doing a beer review. Today I'm doing a review of, it's a small brewery in Decorah, Iowa, and it's called Toppling Goliath. And what we're doing today is, I believe it's a new beer for them. It's called Rover Truck. Hey Trey, how's it going today? Hope you're having a beer. It's beer 30 already. So we're doing a beer review of this oatmeal stout from Toppling Goliath Brewery called Rover Truck. Toppling Goliath is a brewery down in Decorah, Iowa, and thank you. They're a smaller brewery, and I had heard about them a couple of years ago, and actually I made a trip down to Decorah. And the funny thing is that, hey Bry Guy, how's it going? I've heard it is a very good brewery. Unfortunately, the day that I went down to visit, they were closed. They were actually installing new flooring, and I spent the day in Decorah. We went to the Seed Saver Exchange, and then we went downtown to check out the brewery. And we pulled into the parking lot and it was absolutely empty. And I thought, oh my gosh, what's going on? It's supposed to be a great brewery. And then I saw that the trucks that were there were repair truck, construction trucks for putting in flooring. And I happened to go up to the door and I could look inside and I could see the cooler. Hey France, how's it going today? Hope the weather's nice out there. Hope you're having a nice beer today. So I went to the brewery and I saw the beer in there and they were closed. Hey Shaggy Master. Thankfully there was someone in the brewery and I asked them if I could get their beer anywhere in town, and they referred me to the local co-op, and good thing, the co-op did have beer. They had this Rover Truck. The bad thing was this wasn't actually the beer I was looking for. I was looking for their IPA or their double IPA. I think it was either King Sue or I can't remember the other name, something to do with Sue. Hey Mark Credad, and thanks for the love there. Be sure, like I said, if you're watching this on the replay, you can still give love, and you know, I totally appreciate it. Hey BC356Y, thanks for joining in. So anyway, this beer was bottled on the 9th of July, so it's fairly fresh. Hey, Beer Undercover, nice to see you on here. So this is a Toppling Goliath Rover Truck Oatmeal Stout. We're having it in the bottle. The bottled by date, or the bottled on date, is July 9th, so about a month old. Like I said, I bought it at the co-op in Decorah, not at the brewery, so I'm sure I could have gotten fresher beer at the brewery, but they were closed, as I said. South Dakota, no, actually Decorah, Iowa. Close to where I live, about an hour away. The beer itself is listed as a 5.7 ABV, and the IBUs is 35. This is in the bottle. I'm going to be pouring it. Actually, I'm going to, it's not heaven, it's Iowa. Nice. You guys are going to have to hold on here a second because I left my glass in my house here. So I'm going to have to grab it here. I got obviously a special glass. Where did I put it? Thanks again everyone for joining in. Just got my glass. Heading out the door. guess I should have been a little more prepared. I thought I was prepared, but anyway, so here I am, back in. Thanks for bearing with me here. So I'm going to be pouring it into, thanks for the love there. I'm going to be pouring it into, I guess it's a globe glass. We'll see how this goes. Pop the top on it. Hey, Beer Undercover, thanks for joining back in. And try to do an aggressive pour. I like to do an aggressive pour to get a nice head on there. Okay. So look at that. I got a full head there. Was that about three fingers of head? Nice caramel color, caramel tan colored head on there. The beer itself is just about pitch black. Just a hint of caramel color off on the side there. Roaring River? No. This is Rover Truck. Rover Truck from Toppling Goliath. Yes, that's a stout. It's a nice looking stout. It's a beautiful stout. A little bit of bubbles coming up there. The aroma on it. Stouty stout, yes. Stouty mixed stout. You get a lot of almost a chocolatey aroma on it. Kind of a caramely, chocolatey, a sweet aroma. The malt is really coming through. I'm not sure what the hops are that they're using on it, but usually stouts don't have a very hoppy aroma, though they do sometimes have some floral characteristics to it. But mostly chocolate, coffee. ABV on it is 5.7. Almost a roasty, not quite as roasty as some other stouts that I've had. But very nice. Okay, so the head's gone down a bit to about a 1 finger, but it's still retaining pretty well. Give it a little shake here. Some more aroma. You know, I think I get a little bit of yeast, like a bready note coming through. So, what did we say? Kind of caramely, chocolatey, strong on the malts. I'm writing this down. I'm trying to develop. Give it a swirl. I'll give it a swirl. There we go. You know, swirling's good. It releases a little more aromas. So always give a swirl. So I'm working on, this is kind of a cheat sheet beer review sheet. And so I'll be trying this out to see how it works, and if it works, I may make this into a PDF and put it on my website so that other people can download it. But so we got malt, caramel, chocolate on there, fairly heavy on the caramel flavors there, or aromas there. I'm going to give it a sip here. Little sip. No judgment on first sips always. Give it another sip here. My website, it's anello-grande.blogspot.com. I haven't done a lot of these on Periscope yet. I'm starting my Periscope channel, and I have done some, I think 2 other beer reviews. And I've done a couple of beer reviews on YouTube, and I actually like Periscope better because of the interaction that I can get. Thanks for the love there. So first sip there was really nice. You know, it's smooth. It's very smooth. And that's going to be from the oatmeal. So an oatmeal stout is brewed with oatmeal. And usually you don't get a lot of flavor from the oatmeal unless they roast the oatmeal or do something with the oatmeal. But they'll add oatmeal into, usually into the mash to add mouthfeel. And so it makes it for a very smooth, texture to it. And it kind of sweetens it up. I don't know if they're using any milk sugars in this, but I'm getting a lot of sweetness. a roasty flavor more so than an aroma, but you do get almost like a chocolate flavor to it. Kind of a coffee with a little bit of bitterness, kind of like a coffee. This is a great beer. You know, a lot of the stouts that I've had in the past, well, let's take Surly. Surly, one of my favorite breweries here up in Minneapolis. They have Darkness, which is an Imperial Russian stout, which is excellent. But being that this is an oatmeal stout, and it's not an Imperial, it's a little lighter on the alcohol. I can't remember what Darkness is. I want to say it's almost an 11%. This is almost half that at 5.7%. So it's kind of a lighter, not as heavy. But it is such a great... I'm not sure how else to describe it. How common is an oatmeal stout? It's actually pretty common. There's a brewery out of England, Samuel Smith. They're an old brewery, and they've been making oatmeal stouts since I don't know how long. But they're kind of known for their oatmeal stouts. Everybody knows Guinness. They're not an oatmeal stout. I think they're considered more of a foreign stout or an extra stout. But a lot of times companies may not even say that or breweries may not even say that they're brewing an oatmeal stout, but some do. So here we have Toppling Goliath, and they advertise it as an oatmeal stout. Usually you would want to advertise it as an oatmeal stout just so that people know what they're expecting. But like a lot of things in the beer industry, there's no regulation as to saying, okay, well, you have to call it an oatmeal stout or you can't call it this type of beer. People can call a beer whatever they want. And where it really only matters is in competitions and judging, and to give the consumer an idea of what the beer is. So going back to Surly's most famous beer, their Furious, most people considered it an IPA. However, when they first brewed it, they didn't call it an IPA, and actually it's an amber ale. But if you know amber ales, like New Belgium has their Fat Tire Ale as an amber ale, and you would put it side by side with Furious, and you would say these beers are not similar at all. Furious is so hopped up and hoppy, and Fat Tire has a bready biscuit flavor and is lightly hopped, and you know, they're completely different. So then, I don't know, it surely hasn't necessarily changed the style of beer, but a lot of people know Furious as an IPA. Surly also does a number of other IPAs that are world class. You know, guys out there, what kind of beers do you like? Do you guys have a favorite stout that you enjoy? I know, like I've said, hey, Threvo, or is it Bevo? I think it's Bevo. How's it going today? Glad you could join in. Just had a Woot Stout. Woot Stout. Who brews Woot Stout? Because I think I've heard of it. A Stone collaboration. Nice. Stone makes some amazing beers. I can't remember. I've only had, I believe, one Stone beer, and I can't think of what it is at the moment. I know I didn't put it on Untapped, and I don't think I ever reviewed it, so I don't have a record of what it was. But I know that Stone makes some great beers. They actually have a beer called Delicious. Arrogant Bastard, that's a good beer. I've had that. So Stone has a beer called Delicious, which is an IPA. Oh, Arrogant Bastard is Stone. Well, then maybe that's what I had. That could be what I've had, because the title sounds familiar as one that I've had, and maybe I just didn't put the two together. You know, after a couple of beers, maybe that happens. It could have been one of those beer tasting party nights, and everything kind of ran together there. Yeah, thanks for the love. I love those beer party nights, beer tasting parties. They're great. Have you guys ever done a blind beer tasting? Those are fun, especially when people throw in, well, obviously beers that you may not normally try, but we had one where there was Coors Light mixed in with it, and you know, some expensive rare beers. And it's amazing how after a night of drinking you can really play up some of your the descriptions of beers and not really know what you're talking about when it's a blind beer taste. So anyway, I was talking a little bit earlier about Stone Delicious, and the reason why I want to try it is because it's a gluten-free, or gluten-reduced, I guess they can't call it a gluten-free beer, and that in the brewing process they use a product called Clarity Firm, and I'm interested in trying to brew myself. Hey, it was nice seeing you here, Beer Undercover. Cheers to you. Enjoy a beer on your own. I'll look out on Sundays for your scope. And if you get a chance, check out Beer Undercover's Periscope. He does beer reviews on Sunday mornings, I believe at 10 o'clock in the morning, which seems like an odd time to do a beer review for some people, but if you love beer and you have time, that's the time to do it. So anyway, Stone Brewing has their gluten-reduced delicious IPA. What's my favorite style of beer? I really have been enjoying IPAs as of late, and starting to enjoy Saison or farm-style beers. I do enjoy a good stout every once in a while. Their stouts are probably one of the first beers that I tried as a craft beer drinker, with Guinness, you know, probably the best known stout out there. In fact, I can kind of remember the year. It was probably 1993. I was in my 20s and drinking stouts, partially because a friend of mine recommended it to me, and then also I read an article in Dirt Rag magazine. If any of you out there are mountain bikers, you know what Dirt Rag is. I can't remember the author, but he wrote a beer review, or a beer, I guess it would be a review of Guinness Extra Stout, and its ties to mountain biking, and just some of its history, and I thought that really appealed to me. So I drank a lot of those. So Guinness will always hold a special place in my heart. But I've kind of moved on. IPA is probably my favorite, mostly because I can drink one almost any time and enjoy it, and they're all different. Ruination from Stone is very good. That's what I've heard. Also, Stone, don't they do their drink by beers? You know, I don't even know if we get Stone. Yes, yeah, I knew. I don't even know if we get Stone locally here where I live, although I think up in the Twin Cities they can get Stone, and so I gotta keep an eye out when I do travel up to the cities to check them out. You know, I love trying beers, and I love tasting different types of beers. I don't know if any of you have gone to any beer festivals or beer tasting events, but those are great for trying different beers. The only drawback is that you can try so many of them, and at the end of the day, you don't remember what you've tasted or how they've tasted. So usually I'll put, when I go, because a lot of these have like 60 breweries that show up, like I said, holy cow. This is actually a really good oatmeal stout. If you get a chance to either head down to Decorah, Iowa, or if they distribute in your neck of the woods, pick up a 4-pack. This came in a pack of 4 bottles, 12-ounce bottles. I believe they also have it on tap and in cans. But like I said, this was all they had at the co-op that I went and picked up the beer at. But if you get a chance to pick some of this up, it's great. So I can't even remember what I was talking about there for a second. Beer Fest, yeah, I love them. They're fun to go to. You can try out a lot of different beers. You should try to get the beers that you want to try out of the way first, and then go on to beers that that maybe you wouldn't try, or you aren't so excited to try but just want to try later, as your taste, your palate will begin to go down, your taste buds and alcohol and your drunkenness will go down. So anyway, thanks all for joining. Please be sure, if you enjoyed this Periscope, to share it. Just give a swipe left or a swipe up and share it with your friends. I believe that it'll go out on Twitter. Also, be sure to check out my Twitter, check out my blog. The blog is anello-grande.blogspot.com. And just enjoy your beers, and tweet me if you have any questions in the meantime. Like I said, I'm working on a review sheet that hopefully I will be able to actually give better reviews as I'm both on Periscope and just in general for my own records, to be able to say, okay, I really enjoyed this beer. Hey, Minton Krisky. I hope I pronounced that right, Christy. Thanks for joining in. Remember, if you're watching this on the replay, you can give love at any time, just as you would if it was a live stream. And remember to share it. Thanks for joining in. I will see you guys later, and cheers. Again, Rover Truck Oatmeal Stout from Toppling Goliath. I'm actually surprised at how well I do like it, because I love stouts. Thanks, Bevo. Thanks for the kind words there. I do have to work on my delivery and style here, but I do love a good stout, although it's not my favorite style, and so I wasn't expecting to like this so much. As you can see, I'm almost at the end of the glass. In fact, I'll finish it up here on camera and then take off. That is a good one. Thanks a lot, and I will